only thing I could think of is that because of the binding magical contract, it would pull you in and force you to play.
With Dumbledore is actually describing the Triwizard Tournament, the book actually contradicts what.
Andrew, a couple episodes ago, I think chapter 13 review, Mad Eye Moody. Did you know that was our 100th episode?
I did not. I knew we were getting close, but I did not know that that was the 100th episode.
Yeah, so it's a
Very
big
cool.
milestone because statistically speaking, most podcasts don't make it to episode 100. So I think it's a big thing that we did.
Just
we
a couple
need to be a little
winners
bit more
here.
popular. Yes,
Just a
yes,
couple winners.
But the only thing I could think of doing, apart from doing like a whole separate episode, is I don't know if anybody listening has listened to the podcast Pod Meets World. Ryder Strong, Wilfred Dale, Daniel Fishel, Topanga, Sean, and Eric from Boy Meets World.
I have not.
Yes, they are doing, or they're about to be finished with their recap of Boy Meets World.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so I've been listening to it for 4 years. A couple of weeks ago, Ryder Strong found this game. It's called Quick, Quick, Quick.
Okay.
Basically, I'm going to ask a question. There's no wrong answer. There's no wrong answer. You have to give me 3 answers. The only wrong answer is no answer.
Okay.
But I'm going to try to keep this Harry Potter related. There's no time limit, so I'll give you a few questions just so you can kind of...
But it needs to be quick.
Needs to be quick, so don't think. So I'm sure if anybody's listened and heard me do pop quizzes or heard me try to answer pop quizzes, I'll probably do terrible. So, that being said, okay. What is a muggle?
Non-magical person.
Quick, 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 quick. 3 answers.
Oh, someone that can't do magic.
Quick,
They're
quick.
not a wizard. Non-wizard.
All right, all right. Why do the
Okay, so there's
Dursleys...
3 answers to every question. Okay.
Yeah. Why do the Dursleys suck?
They hate Harry, they're terrible parents, and they spoil Dudley.
There you go. I'll let you ask me one now. I think you got the gist of it. It's a pretty easy game to understand.
Okay. I'm going to make mine a little harder just for fun. I'm so excited. I'm so excited because...
I thought maybe you'd struggle a little bit more with this.
Well, so you didn't name, like, you didn't ask questions where there were actual answers. You just asked, like, what's, I get it. But,
Vague questions, I suppose.
okay.
Yeah.
So let's see. I'm going to be a little more mean. Name 3 characters in the book that are Hufflepuff.
Cedric Diggory. Okay, so I got that wrong. Cool.
Oh my gosh.
All right, name 3 people from the book that are Ravenclaw.
Cho Chang, Luna Lovegood, and...
Quick.
I don't know. That's a good one.
Quick.
Pat Patil.
I already said
That's all right. Name 3 professors.
Professor Slughorn, Professor Snape, Professor McGonagall.
Nice.
Name 3 wands.
The Elder Wand, Harry's Wand, and Hermione's Wand.
Yes.
Felt pretty good about that. Okay. Name 3 Horcruxes.
The cup, Tom Riddle's diary, and Marvolo Gaunt's ring.
We'll take it, yeah.
Let's see. Who is the worst Harry Potter character?
Like, I mean, okay, so the worst one written, Gilderoy Lockhart. The worst one, factually, Umbridge.
Gilderoy Lockhart is the best. He's the GOAT.
It just doesn't make sense. There's no reason if she were writing books 1 and books 2, like she wrote books 5, 6, and 7, Dumbledore would have seen right through Gilderoy and been like, there's no way you're teaching my pupils.
All right,
Voldemort's going to come back. I need a real defense against the dark arts teacher.
We'll keep going for about another minute. What are games wizards can play?
Wizarding chess, Quidditch, and then what's the one with the marble? It's like the marble one.
Quick.
Snowball fights with wands.
There you go.
There you go. Name 3 house elves.
Dobby, Hermione, and Draco.
Okay, there are wrong answers to ours. Now, we cannot prove that there are not house elves in the wizarding world named Hermione and Draco. But I feel like you used the rules to your advantage there. Exploding Snap was the game I was trying to think of.
Okay, let's see. Name 3 students that could be professors.
Ooh, Neville Longbottom, Luna Lovegood, and Ginny Weasley.
All right.
Yeah, I think Ginny Weasley could be a DADA. Name 3 businesses in Diagon Alley.
Oh, quality Quidditch robes, the 3 broomsticks, and dang it.
The 3 broomsticks is in Hogsmeade.
Oh, that's right. I'm naming Hogsmeade places.
And quality Quidditch supplies, yes. Madam Malkin's robes, yes, but not quality Quidditch robes.
All right, listeners, let us know if we're getting any good or not. I don't know.
Terrible.
This is our 100th episode celebration. So.
Yeah.
Welcome back, witches, wizards, and muggles to Squib's Corner. I hope you put your name on a piece of parchment and you are ready to put it in a goblet of fire. I am Jeremiah.
And I'm Andrew, and today we're jumping into Chapter 16 of Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire. And Chapter 16 is the Goblet of Fire. Now, before we move forward, we got to move backwards. We got to go over 15, right? So we just met the 2 other competing schools that are going to be in the Triwizard Tournament. We've got Beauxbatons, presumably from the South France area, because they show up wearing silk-type robes. No overcoats, no capes, no cloaks, anything like that. Couple of scarves, but they're cold at Hogwarts. Then you've got Durmstrang, and they're more surly, more from the German Dutch type area because they do have pretty thick cloaks. They show up in a ship. I know. They show up in a ship that comes out of the Great Lake, and then the Beauxbatons, they show up in a flying carriage that's the size of an enormous house.
Don't be stupid,
horses.
It's a house.
Don't be, it's not a dragon, idiot. It's a flying house. Sorry.
Best line of any book.
Yes. So Durmstrang and Beauxbatons, they get there. And the feast, we learn a little bit more about the Triwizard Tournament. And we know that there's going to be an impartial judge. You have to be 17. In order to make it in. Fred and George and Lee Jordan are upset about this. That's right. I am not joking about this. But they're all excited, right? That's really the main thing. We get a lot of school stuff in the chapter, which is pretty neat, but it ends, Durmstrang and Beauxbatons are here, and that brings us into the Goblet of Fire, which this is the day before Halloween. So the Friday, October 30th, and I haven't even checked the calendar to see if that's really when October 30th was in 1994. We should check that before the episode's over.
Oh, yeah. So before we get into the 7-word summary, I kind of wanted to get, like, what are your thoughts on this chapter? I want to get a feel on how you felt about this chapter as a book review chapter. Because I got to tell you what, I was trying to write this script knowing that we were having a guest coming on, and I was panicking a little bit, figuring out how to even make that work, because as a review, it's a long chapter, but it kind of fell a little flat.
Yeah, there's not a lot happening. Obviously, it ends incredibly.
Oh, the next chapter will be great, but this
Yeah,
chapter,
yeah. This one, it was a long chapter, and I think we're just kind of, we're just, she's trying to get us into the crowd, right? We are part of the frenzy. We are part of the crowd. We are part of waiting to see what's about to happen. You know, it's almost like the first book when we were waiting for the first Quidditch match, right? We were Harry. We've never seen it. Now we are the students. And we're going through. Oh, we've got. Oh, where are they sitting? Oh, where are they eating? Or where are they sleeping? Right. So we're learning all of this stuff with them. So not as exciting as far as a full chapter, but it's just setting us up. We learn a little bit more about them. We see them, and we're getting to see them. And now it's gonna ramp up.
all right. I'm glad I'm not the only one that was like, oh, not a good chapter to have a guest on. But luckily, she was disappointed she couldn't make it.
Sure.
But I was kind of happy. I was on the verge of asking, you mind doing a different chapter?
Yeah.
Let's go ahead and get into that 7-word summary. So my 7-word summary, like I said, this chapter was a difficult one just because there wasn't a lot. I think mine fits. Harry, the champions have already been selected.
Mine is, I'm borrowing it from another character, but I think we all know who it's about in this chapter. Why me? Why is it always me?
Yeah, that's a good one. So tell me what you think about the 7-chapter notables, because as difficult as they were, they did kind of just fall into place, but I kind of feel like they're a bit obvious at the same time, which there's no problem with them being obvious. That's fine.
Yeah.
But,
That's why they're notable.
yeah. Number 1, it's Krum. Viktor Krum. Do you see him? Right there. Number 2, did you expect the impartial judge to be a who or a what? Number 3, Hagrid has a rather tall crush. 4, the Durmstrang Champion is. 5, the Beauxbatons Champion is. 6, the Hogwarts Champion is. 7, the Hogwarts Champion is. I just there's nothing, like there's not a lot. Big chapter, not a lot going on.
Yeah.
And as always, we'll start out with the first paragraph. Actually, I put 3 of them together because it was rather short, and I thought.
Yeah, they were short. I've done that before, just throwing them together.
Yeah. I don't believe it, Ron said in a stunned voice as the Hogwarts students filed back up the steps behind the party from Durmstrang. Durmstrang. Chapter notable number 1, Krum. Harry. Viktor Krum. For heaven's sake, Ron, he's only a Quidditch player, said Hermione. Only a Quidditch player, Ron said, looking at her as though he couldn't believe his ears. Hermione, he's the best seeker in the world. I had no idea he was still at school.
And Hermione is on one in this chapter. She's snippy.
Yeah, I referenced that. I noticed, and I pointed it out. I had to, because I'm like, Hermione.
Yeah.
It's a good thing to pay attention to, really, especially when it comes to a certain character. So.
Yeah. So kind of a chapter number 1 continued. Everybody wants Viktor Krum's autograph. Everybody wants to crowd around him. I mean, the man just caught the snitch in the Quidditch World Cup final. I
mean, Hermione doesn't care one way or the other, though.
Hermione does not care. One girl's like, I don't have a pen. Do you think he'll, give me an autograph in lipstick? Right? And even Ron wants his autograph. So they make their way, right? So Durmstrang, they make their way into the Great Hall. This is still Friday, October 30th in the book. Seating arrangements were not something that had been discussed. We just know that these 2 other schools were arriving, but it looks like the students from Beauxbatons they're going to be sitting with the Ravenclaws. And then, as bad as Ron wanted Durmstrang to sit with them, it ends up, and it almost makes sense that Durmstrang ended up sitting with the Slytherins.
Yeah, it kind of does.
Yeah.
And with Ron's obsession with Krum at this point, he's just looking everywhere for him, like trying to use excuses to talk to him. I don't think he actually ever tried to, just admiring from afar, right? Like
Yes. Tries to get close, but doesn't try to get, like, let's have a conversation close.
Yeah.
Whew.
Pop quiz already.
I love a good pop quiz.
This one's 2 parts. We've talked about this before and we've asked this before, and I've actually done some digging. Which schools in a wizarding world have a housing system?
It's not in the book. It's not canon. I don't really care.
The only magical school with a canonically confirmed house system
Hogwarts.
similar to Hogwarts is Livermony.
It's not in the book, so it's not canon.
It's canon enough. You're
No,
just
it's
upset.
not.
You're just upset because you didn't know it.
This is a book review podcast.
True.
Is Livermony in the books? No, it's not. Let me answer that for you. It's not.
Are you sure?
Look it up.
I'm going to look it up right now.
Look it up.
Look it up right now.
Look it up.
I am.
I'll wait.
You wait.
The listeners and I will wait.
You guys, everybody has to wait.
Everybody's going to wait.
I'm putting it into the PDF. And nothing has popped up.
That's because it's not in the books.
I don't think he'll answer this question.
You don't think I will answer this question?
No.
I'm listening.
Because it's not canon. So
you have my attention.
Is it Ivermony or Livermony?
Nobody cares.
What other houses at that school?
Owl.
Horned Serpent, Wampus, Puckwidgie, and Thunderbird.
Edit all of this out. Edit all of this out.
It's gotta stay.
It's gonna stay. Now, I did see something a couple years ago. Somebody put in, AI was almost fresh, like it was brand new. And they said, show me, the prompt was like, show me a wizarding school and students and professors that's in New Orleans. Or that's in Dubai, or that's in Egypt. And, obviously the Egypt when there were pyramids and, sandstone. Like, it was really cool to kind of see all the stuff that AI came up with. That was pretty neat to see.
I'm going to look it up and see if J.K. Rowling has confirmed.
Confirmed if that school was in the books?
Well, no.
I know.
Yeah, she's confirmed their houses.
I'm sure.
Yes. So,
I'm sure she has.
Rowling
Yeah,
has officially confirmed and detailed the 4 Ivermony houses. So
is that a United States school?
That doesn't sound like it.
I don't know where it is. Like, I don't know if it's because Fantastic Beasts. I've not watched the films. I tried to start watching the first one. I just couldn't get into it.
Really, Fantastic Beasts are great.
To each their own.
Let's see. Ivermony is the highest peak of Mount Greylock in western Massachusetts.
Cool. So yeah, sounds like cool. I mean, I would assume that's why I'm saying I assumed it would be American since Fantastic Beasts is which she wrote, right? I mean, she wrote it. So, and it's predominantly based in the United States, so I could definitely see it being.
I can also see how this wouldn't tie into Harry Potter. Maybe it would tie in more to Fantastic Beasts. I can't quite remember, but
obviously, yeah.
Well,
we don't mention
the reason why I brought up this question is because we now have 3 schools total, and I was wondering, do those other schools, do they have houses? And they do not have houses, so they're just regular schools.
Boarding schools, yeah.
Yeah. So I thought it was interesting.
Way to fail at pop quizzes. Okay.
You just wait till the next one.
It's a Lord of the Rings question. Okay. Back to our regularly scheduled program. So obviously, Ron is super pissed, right? Ron is super pissed that Durmstrang sits not only with Slytherins, but Krum is sitting right beside Draco freaking Malfoy. And Ron is just like, oh man, they just hates it. So then he's like, hey, where do you think Durmstrang's going to be sleeping? And he's like, Krum can sleep in our dormitory. You know what? He can just sleep in our bed. I'll just kip on a cot. You know, I'll really want to be there. And Hermione is just like, what? Like, what is happening? Yeah, so Hermione's completely not like impressed at all. Krum, who cares? He's well known for being able to fly on a broom and catch a little golden snitch. You know what I'm saying?
Woo-hoo, big deal. She's not a sports person. No.
Yeah, she cheers for Harry, but Harry is her friend, not because he's amazing at Quidditch. Yeah. So
yeah, if Harry wasn't in Quidditch, she probably wouldn't go. I don't think she'd go.
Yeah. No, she wouldn't be there. No. And you know, so then Hermione, you know, Hermione's looking at the Beauxbatons girls, and some of them are still like clutching at their scarves. And Hermione's like, it's not even that cold here. Like, why are you doing that? So right before Dumbledore begins to talk, we see Filch setting up extra chairs up at the staff table. I know, you're making me wait for that music today, man.
You'll get this. You have to get this. This is completely canon. This is it's not non-canonical.
No excuses.
No excuses. Here. 2 parts. How many judges are there for the Triwizard Tournament?
This Triwizard Tournament, there's going to be 5.
Okay, and who are the judges?
We've got Dumbledore. We've got Karkaroff. We've got Madame Maxine. Then we've got Barty Crouch. And then we've got Ludo Bagman.
Ding, ding.
Okay.
There you go. A pop quiz to not get upset about.
Oh, well then I would like to ask you a question.
An impromptu pop quiz, you say?
An impromptu pop quiz. Once the Durmstrang students remove their cloaks, we see the color of their school uniforms. What color are the Durmstrang uniforms?
I remember hearing this too.
And there needs to be some specificity.
I want to say red and black. But I could not give you a specific detail. I know red was I'm pretty sure red was part of it. I'm going to say red and black, but I can't give you any specifics.
Blood red.
Okay,
yeah. Is what, yeah. So we're going to give you a half point for that, for the red. Yeah.
Still pretty good.
Yeah, not bad. Especially, you know, that's just kind of a passing detail nobody cares about. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So the last episode, I was wondering if the other schools, if they're looking around Hogwarts unimpressed, right? Because all they seemed to do was clean the castle and then hang up the Hogwarts banners. That'll show these other schools that have.
I mean, it's a cool castle, though.
It's a
cool castle.
Could have done something more than like put up some decorations or something. Like it just kept it very plain, very basic. So while he was welcoming everybody, even the ghost for that matter, a Beauxbatons girl gave a derisive laugh. I'm pretty sure she was kind of looking around too. So that kind of like gave me a little bit of answer of how impressed people are, the other schools are with Hogwarts at the moment. Like I said, if we were to go to Durmstrang or Beauxbatons, what would we see? I imagine those schools being a little bit more up to snuff.
Well, it's kind of neat. We get a slight indication here that Beauxbatons might be almost like a finishing school. So, like when Madame Maxine walks into the Great Hall, all of the Beauxbatons students stand up,
Yes, yes.
and they don't sit back down until Madame Maxine sits down, and then they sit down. Even while Hogwarts students were kind of like laughing, like giggling that they were doing
It's
that.
a sign of respect.
Yeah, it's a sign of respect, and it's a very, 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 very hierarchical, like, with the monarchs and, all that stuff. And we do it here too, inaugural dinners and stuff. The president walks in, people stand up, so it's, yeah, but Hermione, one of the Beauxbaton girls laughs at, Dumbledore, and Hermione's like, no one's asking you to stay. It's like,
Yes, exactly.
it's like, geez, Hermione, calm down.
Yeah, that's her second outburst. So she seems more annoyed than anything that the schools are here. Almost like, maybe not annoyed is the word. Maybe, how would you describe Hermione's attitude? Like inconvenienced that the other schools are here?
My theory is Hermione is all business, right?
Oh, yeah.
McGonagall just told them your OWLs are at the end of next year, but you need all of the prep that you can get. So now Hermione, remember, what is Hermione's Bogart?
You failed. You failed everything.
Who tells her that?
I would assume McGonagall.
Yeah. So her greatest fear is Professor McGonagall telling her that she's failed. So now she's like, oh, I need all the preparation I can to prepare for next year's OWLs. Now I have to deal with these Triwizard students. Now I got to deal with this Triwizard Tournament. Now I got to deal with all this, and I'm trying to,
Yeah, Hermione wants pen to
save
paper.
the house elves.
She doesn't want to play games. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we learned that the tournament will officially begin after the feast, which was much different than the usual ones. The feast had the usual foods, but it also had foods that were served at Beauxbatons and Durmstrang that were, well, we'll just say not to Ron's liking.
Yeah.
He usually pigs out right away, and this time he's
He
like,
pigs out.
"What's that? What's that? I'll take your word for it."
Well, do you remember the name of the French dish that was in front of Ron?
Yes, because I have it written down right here. Could I pronounce it? That's another
Bouillabaisse.
bouillabaisse.
So everyone at the staff table, they start talking. Everyone's getting along. Hagrid walks in. He's all bandaged up. And Harry, in the middle of this feast, like just yells out over everybody. Scrooge doing all right, Hagrid? Thriving. Oh, my apologies. That was your line. So Hagrid calls back happily. They thought that maybe he had found some food that they'd finally liked, and it sounds like it is Hagrid's fingers, right?
They did find some food.
So then a girl from Beauxbaton comes over to their table. Remember, they're at the Ravenclaw table. They come over right in front of Ron to see if he was finished with something called a bouillabaisse, a food which Ron had just talked down about. He said it was delicious, then gave her the rest, which was all of it since he hadn't touched it. Now, here's my thing. If the French students had eaten all of their bouillabaisse, wouldn't it automatically refill?
You would think, because, I mean, that's what happens.
Feels like a slight inconsistency. Now, I know why she did it, because as soon as she leaves, Ron is drooling after her. He lied, oh, yeah, it's delicious. You can have this. We love it so much, but I want you to have it.
Here's the better question. So the Weasleys are all about bacon sandwiches.
Everybody.
How many bacon sandwiches, BLT, whatever kind of bacon sandwich, BLT, just a bacon sandwich, how many could you eat if they just kept appearing?
So I prefer, if I'm eating a bacon sandwich, I prefer there to be egg and cheese involved.
All right, let's say it's made to how you prefer it.
I am pubescent Ron going through 14 years old, growth spurts coming. You give me 6 good bacon, egg, and cheese sandwiches, and I might go for a 7th one. You know what I'm saying?
Now you're baking egg and cheese. You like your bacon floppy, but how about on a sandwich?
Floppy. There's no if bacon is breaking, it's going in the trash.
Okay. Well,
If there is
when it comes to bacon, my mouth is the trash.
No, if there is a crunch to any meat that I ever eat, if there is a crunch, unless it's like fried chicken, you know what I'm saying? That's got the crispy breading. Nah.
I'm gonna go out on a limb and say you like pastrami.
I mean, I don't really go out.
I couldn't tell you the last time I had pastrami.
No, I was about to say I don't know the last time that I've had pastrami, but no.
Okay.
No, I'll.
All right, listeners. So, if you've been with us the whole time, you've heard us with this back and forth debate on floppy or crispy bacon.
It's not a debate. It's canon.
Press pause. It's canon. Press pause. Go down into the comments. Crispy or floppy bacon. And I'm going to make, if you're listening on Spotify, this will be a poll. So look out for the poll.
Oh, boy. Oh, boy. So Ron gives this girl the bouillabaisse that should have magically refilled at her own table, but that's neither here nor there.
I think we just needed an excuse for her to
come
something.
to see. Yeah. And so Ron is like transfixed by her.
She's a Vila.
She's a Vila. And Hermione's like, of course she isn't. I don't see anyone else gaping at her like an idiot. But she was wrong, right? So people were staring at her. And then we have this funny exchange. Ron's like, I'm telling you, that's not a normal girl. They don't make them like that at Hogwarts.
They make them okay at Hogwarts.
Harry, why would you say it like that? They are so oblivious to Hermione. They are so oblivious. Now, yes.
Well, he's also staring at Cho. So
he sees that Cho.
Yeah.
So, she could have added, he says sheepishly. But no, it's just like they make them okay at Hogwarts, said Harry. In front of Hermione. And yet Hermione can't be bothered. When you've both put your eyes back in, you'll be able to see who's just arrived. There were, when they were setting up table, or when they walked in originally to the Great Hall, there were extra chairs. They were setting up extra chairs. And they're like, well, who are those other chairs for? Well, now we know. So we get Barty Crouch and Ludo Bagman. And they're like, well, Ron, why are they here? And Hermione, the brightest witch of her age, she's like, well, obviously they probably helped plan this whole thing.
Set it up. Of course they want to watch it start.
International,
like she's on one.
Wizard,
She's just on one.
Yeah. So she's good. So then dessert came with the same foods to fit every school there. Ron tried to make the girl he said was a Vila come back, but to no success.
He set the dessert on the edge of the table and then kind of looked at her.
Yeah. Hello. Bonjour.
So with the feast over, it's finally time to begin the tournament. Dumbledore introduces the judges, which we've already done. Ludo Bagman got the biggest applause. Then Filch brings, and this confused me when I first read it, but I figured it out as we went. He brings out the casket, which was a great wooden chest encrusted with jewels. And even Ron's like, or either Ron or Harry, they're like, a casket? What's a casket for?
Yeah, a casket.
So Dumbledore says, there will be 3 tasks spaced through the school year, and they will test the champions in many different ways. Their magical prowess, their daring, their powers of deduction, and, of course, their ability to cope with danger. The winner will win the Triwizard Cup. The champions will be chosen by the chapter notable number 2, the impartial judge, the Goblet of Fire. Now, when you're thinking of an impartial judge, and I think everybody was saying, who is the impartial judge going to be? Surely it's not going to be Snape. I don't think.
I thought it would have been Barty Crouch when I was first reading this.
Yeah.
I thought it was going to be Barty Crouch. He shows no emotion towards anything, so you'd assume he'd be impartial.
Yeah. It's a
Now-
good little swerve to put in there as not who, but what the
Yes.
impartial judge is.
Now, this part was pretty interesting because when Dumbledore is actually describing the Triwizard Tournament, the book actually contradicts what he says. So he said there's going to be 3 challenges, and the judges, the contestants, the champions will get points awarded by the 5 judges, right? And then he goes, whoever has the most points at the end of the tournament wins the Triwizard Tournament. Well, if you fast forward to the 3rd task, it's the maze, right? And the challenge is get through the maze, get through all of the obstacles in there, and then the first person to get to the cup actually wins the Triwizard Tournament.
Yeah.
So not the person with the most points. So what we see in the Triwizard or in the maze, whoever has the most points gets to go in first, then the second most, and the third most, and then the fourth most.
I mean, either way, it makes sense. I mean, you got the most points, you win. Well, maybe
but
you don't do it that way. Maybe if you win, then you're, front position.
Yeah, that's the thing. So whoever has the most points after the first 2 get to go into the maze first, but it doesn't necessarily mean that they win because Krum goes later and Fleur goes last. So if Fleur would have gotten to the cup, she would have won. But she would have had the least amount of put.
To see if they're using points and that, or if it's just one or the other. So after announcing the impartial judge, the Goblet of Fire, so the book or the movies make the Goblet of Fire out to be this magnificent thing. They put a lot of attention and a lot of effort around it. But to me, the books make it sound a little unimpressive, and I'm going to pull this out from the book. Dumbledore now took out his wand, tapped it 3 times upon the top of the casket. The lid creaked slowly open. Dumbledore reached inside of it and pulled out a large, roughly hewn wooden cup. It would have been entirely unremarkable had it not been full to the brim with dancing blue-white flames. Dumbledore closed the casket and placed the goblet carefully on top of it where it would be clearly visible to everyone in the hall. To me, that makes it sound very small.
Yeah,
In my head, I'm picturing he's putting a rather large goblet on top of this casket, but nothing gigantic where it's this big, magnificent thing. I don't know. What do you think about that?
So when we're talking about the Goblet of Fire, they say that it's an ancient relic, right? And so it being wooden and roughly hewn makes it feel more ancient. It's like, did you ever watch Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade?
I think I have.
It's the best one where Indiana Jones and his father, they're looking for the Holy Grail, right? They said, Joseph of Arimathea, whose tomb it was where Jesus Christ was laid to rest after he was crucified. He has this chalice, this cup, that if you drink from it, you'll get eternal life. And so they go and they find it, but obviously there's bad guys in there. And one of the main bad guys, the bad guy, he gets in there and there's several cups to choose from. And he picks up the most beautiful, gaudy one there and drinks from it. And he dies shortly after. It was not the chalice. So Indiana Jones and Indiana Jones' father has been shot. So he needs to find this chalice to save the dad's life.
So that's the catch. You drink
the
out
Holy
of the wrong
Grail.
one.
You drink out of the wrong one, you die. Because they're like, if you truly knew Jesus Christ, you would pick the right one. So anyway, so there is this one wooden, almost looks like a wine glass, right? A handle. And so he's like, Jesus was a carpenter. This is it. So, that's the one. So when they talk about this ancient relic, the Goblet of Fire being this ancient, powerful magical object, the fact that it's just roughly hewn wood does give it that aged, almost like the Sorting Hat, right?
Yeah.
The Sorting Hat is just this old beat up hat, yet it's been around for 1,000 years.
It could just be the movies that kind of ruined it, I guess.
Ruin everything? Yeah, you're right.
Well, I mean, they did make this pretty impressive. But then when you go back to the book and read it, you're like, oh,
Yeah.
that's not all what this is.
Sure. And I see why the movie did it. If we're going to get screen time for this thing, let's give it the awe factor, the wow factor.
Yeah,
so I
yeah,
get why they did
yeah.
it, but yeah.
Well, and at the same time, like, nobody knows the Goblet of Fire. What is that? So nobody's ever heard of it. They don't know. They have no idea what's happening. They see that, and they're probably impressed with it.
Well, especially when you see that the box it comes in is encrusted with all of these jewels.
Yeah.
And then you're like, here's this old wooden goblet.
Yeah. It's got blue flames in it, though.
Very cool.
So, to enter, all one has to do, like I said in the opening of this episode, I hope you have your pieces of paper with your names written on them, because you got to put your name on that and then put it into the cup. But there's one caveat. You have to be of age. There will be an age line placed around the Goblet of Fire to enforce this rule, put there by Dumbledore. And everybody just blindly trusts Dumbledore, because Dumbledore, he is the most powerful wizard in existence, according to Harry Potter. So
yeah,
they have the thing I thought was kind of neat. I would assume when the other schools come, the other schools they already know what's going to happen. Okay, this is what we're doing. Who wants to enter the tournament? The ones that want to go, come with me, right? But Hogwarts doesn't have the edge because nobody. They're like the underdog. They don't know what's going on. So the fact that they only had 24 hours to enter this makes you think real quick.
Well, he told them at the opening feast, right? September 1st. They knew that Quidditch was canceled. They knew that there was going to be a tournament. They know that it was going to be dangerous. So, and they tell them that you have to be of age.
Yeah.
But now the goblet is in front of them. You're like, now it's serious. How long do we get to think about this? You need to have your names in by tomorrow night at dinner.
Yeah.
What? We just saw the competition come in today.
Yeah. So if you're on the fence, you better fall off of it or
do it.
Whatever
Yeah.
you need to do. So Dumbledore then gets a little serious. Finally, I wish to impress upon any of you wishing to compete that this tournament is not to be entered into lightly. Once a champion has been selected by the Goblet of Fire, he or she is obligated to see the tournament through to the end. The placing of your name in the goblet constitutes a binding magical contract, which I could have made this a chapter notable. There can be no change of heart once you have become a champion. Please be very sure, therefore, that you are wholeheartedly prepared to play before you drop. I like how he says play. Before you drop your name into the goblet. And in true Dumbledore fashion, let me drop this bombshell now. I think it's time for bed. Good night to you all. And then he just leaves.
Okay, so talk to me here, because this has been of great debate, I think, since the book came out. You put your name in the Goblet of Fire, you get chosen as a house champion. You are forced to play, or else what? Binding magical contract. You're forced to play. So here, let's say I'm Harry Potter.
I've never thought of that.
Right? Yeah. Oh, you better be sure, because this is a binding magical contract.
It's one of those typical empty threats.
Well, and the only thing that I can think of is, because you can go to every, we're not going to spoil this, right? You can go to every, we know there's 3 tasks. I'm going to go up to the first task, no matter what it is. No, thanks. No, you have to do it. No, I'll do it. I'll just take the 0 points. And then we can move on. No, this is a binding magical contract. Look, I'm not going in there.
The only thing I could think of is that because of the binding magical contract, it would pull you in and force you to play.
I don't think it would.
The magic itself. Now, whether or not you actually have to play to the best of your ability, that's not said. So it could pull you in, and you could just be like, I'm going to take the L.
I mean, because
I'm going to purposely fail.
Yeah. I think the biggest insult would be your school is not allowed to replace you as a champion.
So you just let down the entire school.
So you just let down your school. which would be a huge, huge thing. But they've already changed the rules so that nobody's going to die. So your binding magical contract, I don't think it's going to bring you any sort of physical or mental harm. I think it's just that you're not allowed to be, you can't be subbed in.
We've heard of other magical binding instances where if you break it, you die.
Yes, but that's explicitly said. Right? That's explicitly said.
We can only insinuate that that's what they would mean, because what else would they mean?
But honestly think...
Why would you die because you didn't play a game?
Right. You've been chosen as Hogwarts champion so that you can play against these other high schoolers. I don't want to play. Death! You know what I'm saying? So it's like they make it sound so ominous, and yet how bad would the punishment be?
I can't wait for people to drop their comments on that. I can't wait to keep this discussion going, because I've never thought of it, because, it's just like in today's world, like do this or else. Unless you're the IRS, or else what?
Yeah, or else. Even if you're the IRS. Okay, I'm going to call a tax attorney.
Well, and they're going to... If the IRS tells me or else, I'm like, oh, I better do that.
Yeah, that is a scary one.
But anything else, I'm like, oh, yeah?
Yeah.
What are you going to do?
Yeah. So it's interesting that he's like, we already learned that they changed the rules so that nobody's going to get mortally injured. But then he goes, I want to impress upon all of you, this is a binding magical contract.
Man, really? Why did she not include what would happen?
Okay, yeah.
I wonder if she... do you know if she stated what would happen?
I don't know. I don't know. So, moving forward, we can all just kind of let that fester in our brains.
That's a thinker. That's.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
That's one of the most stumped I've been on this podcast.
So...
And it doesn't take much to stump me, so.
Hey, we're grateful you're here, though. So, anyway, so they leave. Fred and George are like, an age line? Let's freaking go. And then Hermione's like, it's a Dumbledore age line. It's not just any line. And she's like, I don't think anyone under 17 will stand a chance. We just haven't learned enough. She's not wrong. Like, I agree with her.
She's not wrong.
She's not wrong.
And I like this right here because, like I say, every time Fred and George brought up, they saw it as a joke. There's not much context to it, but they said, a simple aging potion should do the trick. Y'all know how to do an aging potion? I find that pretty impressive. I don't think that's something to just skip over.
Yeah.
What? That's transfiguration. Is it not? That seems like advanced transfiguration to me.
Or just potions.
Either way, yeah.
They have potions textbooks. Then go to the library.
Yeah, but for the twins to just spit that out, like, an aging
well, we
potion?
know
we
know that the twins are good at magical manipulation, right?
Yes,
so we know that they have a knack for that. So it almost feels like that would have been something since they started Weasley Wizard Wheezes that they might have tried.
Oh yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So they could be like, oh, we've already got this.
Yeah, they're just awesome. They're awesome.
Yeah. And so, they're asking Harry and Ron, like, all right, you guys going to try it? And, it sounds, Harry's like, yeah, I would do it, but no, I don't want to do it. Like, I'm going to sit on this one.
Well, he sounds almost as if, oh yeah, it'd be great. Like I could just picture it. And then he's picturing Dumbledore. Yeah. Almost as if he doesn't want to disappoint Dumbledore.
Good man.
And I'm like, that's very uncharacteristic of you, Harry, because usually you don't give a damn.
Yeah. And Ron, during all this, was not paying attention. Too busy looking for Krum, still wanting to know where they're going to sleep, because he wants them to sleep in his dormitory. But then Karkaroff tells him, all right, everybody back to the ship. We got to go to bed. And he's like, Krum, are you feeling okay? Are you feeling okay? Did you get enough to eat? Should I get some mulled wine? And then another kid was like, I'd like some mulled wine. He goes, I wasn't asking you if you want some mulled wine.
Didn't he say like he had something on his face and how dirty?
Yeah, he had already gotten food on his shirt. And he's like,
Just insults everybody else.
You're an embarrassment. And so as Karkaroff is leaving the school, Harry's kind of in his way, and they kind of pass. Excuse me, no, you're good. Karkaroff looks at him, and he's just looking at him, and then that makes the other Durmstrang students look at him, and then Moody comes behind him and goes, yeah, that is Harry Potter.
You.
Yeah, Karkaroff's like, oh my gosh, not Moody. And then Moody's like, me. And unless you've got anything to say to Potter, Karkaroff, you might want to move. You're blocking the doorway.
I like his response. Me. It's so great. I like the little exchange between them right there, though.
Yes.
That's a good
and I love that it works on both levels. Like Moody being a previous Auror, getting after Karkaroff, and Barty Crouch Jr. being an imprisoned Death Eater, not happy with Karkaroff.
Yeah, that could get pretty deep right there.
Yeah.
So the next day was the day for the champions to be chosen. So naturally, everybody woke up early. Christmas morning, but without the Christmas. The trio went down to the Goblet to find out that the Durmstrangs have already put their names in. Then suddenly, the twins had come down to say they had their aging potion ready. They already had plans to split the money 3 ways. Lee Jordan, right? He's the third.
Yep, Lee.
Yeah. Guess who chimed in on all of this with more negativity? I'll give you 3 guesses, and it's not Draco or Ron.
Who's snippy in this chapter?
Yes. I'm not sure that's going to work. Said Hermione warningly. I'm sure Dumbledore would have thought of this. And we find that out right away.
I actually do really enjoy this book scene right here.
Yeah.
From this point to the next, page or so, I think is a really fun little scene that she put in.
Yeah, so they went in anyways, and for a couple seconds it looked like it was going to work. And then they were literally thrown 10 feet away out of the Goblet of Fire with identical long white beards. Everyone, including the twins, started laughing, and then Dumbledore just shows up out of nowhere, because that's what he does. I did warn you. I suggest you both go up to Madame Pomfrey. She is already tending to Miss Fawcett of Ravenclaw and Miss Summers of Hufflepuff, both of whom decided to age themselves up a little too, though I must say neither of their beards is anything quite as fine as yours.
So it says that Dumbledore was laughing.
Yes.
While this happened. So Fred and George are like, we did it, we took it, we only needed to be aged up a couple of months. They walk over the age line. Nothing happens, and then they're blasted out, and then they land, and then there's pop, and they both get these beards. I can see it now. Dumbledore
was watching the whole time.
He goes back up to his office that night, and he looks at all the portraits, and he goes, let me know when Fred and George are walking to the Goblet of Fire. I want to be there.
Yeah. And he was watching.
Oh, you know it. So I just love that he laughed and was like, I did try to warn you. Go up to the hospital wing. Love the beards, you guys.
I could even kind of picture him like, poking his head around something, trying to hide.
And then you want to know.
I knew they were coming.
Do you want to know? You know that there are like heartless, cruel, and evil Harry Potter fans? Did you know that? Yeah. Because one of them, many years ago, made the comment that this is the only time that the twins got to grow old together. Is that not the worst? Like your reaction. You're like, oh gosh, why would they say that?
Oh my God, it's so true though.
It's so terrible. So that happens. Everybody's cheerful, right? Let's get back on a happy note here.
Yeah.
They go to breakfast. It's Halloween. There's hundreds of pumpkins all over the place. Live bats flying around the ceiling. Again, no shortcuts when it comes to decorating the school. Here's our pumpkins. and
So
we let
pumpkins
some
and bats.
bats away.
Hey, you're about to eat. How do you feel about 100 bats flying over your head, huh? Huh? That doesn't disturb you at all?
Bat droppings hurt
Yeah.
my feelings, and soon we're going to have a rush of owls joining the fray, so things are going to get a little hectic.
And we know
So-
they don't like to clean up the poop, so.
Yeah, there's got to be something magical about it because nobody ever complains about owl poop
True.
at breakfast.
True.
So there's got to be something magical there. So now they kind of start talking about like, who do you think the Hogwarts champion is going to be? And somebody said that Warwick, one of the Slytherin Quidditch players, was it Warwick? Am I saying that right?
Warrington.
Warrington, yeah, Warrington. He put his name in, and they're like, we can't have a Slytherin Hogwarts to be a
Yeah,
Hogwarts
I think at that
champion.
point they hadn't thought about it much, and all of a sudden they're like, what if a Slytherin was the
Yeah.
champion?
Well, so far that's the only one that they know from Hogwarts that have put themselves in the cup.
Well, at that
like-
point,
Yeah, at that point.
Slytherin,
so they're like,
so a Slytherin's champion. Are you cheering for one of the other schools at that point?
oh man,
I mean, in one instance, okay,
Yeah.
Hogwarts could win. Oh, but the
Yeah.
Slytherins, like,
yeah.
right? So,
Yeah, so, and then from the sound of it, they hear from Hufflepuff that Cedric Diggory had put his name in, which Hermione's like, yeah, cool. And Ron's like, no, that guy's, I freaking hate that guy.
Yeah.
And then Angelina Johnson comes running in. She's like, I did it. I put my name in. And now we're like, yes, Gryffindor did it. Hermione's like, freaking let's go. This is the only time Hermione's happy in this chapter. And
pretty much.
after breakfast.
really, because even
Yeah.
afterwards she gets, yep.
Yeah. So afterwards, they're like, yo, let's go down and see Hagrid. And her and Hermione's like, yeah, let's go see Hagrid. I've not asked him to join SBEW. Wait here. Let me run up. Let me go get some buttons. He's going to be our next member of SBEW. And so right before they left, the Beauxbatons students come in and they began putting their names in the Goblet of Fire. And Ron this time asked where they were sleeping, and it was answered as they headed to Hagrid's. It was in the carriage, the big carriage that they showed in the size of the house. That was about 200 yards from Hagrid's hut. And then there was a paddock there with all of the elephantine flying horses, as they're described.
You know, if I had to say anybody in this book had ADD, it's Ron. It's most definitely. Look at all this stuff. Where are they sleeping?
It's almost more autistic, really. Like he is hyper focused on Krum and where these guests are sleeping. Like
Don't get me started on hyperfocus. My brother, man. I feel bad for him sometimes because I will start talking about something and I'll just every day for like a week I just talk about it and I talk about it and I don't say anything different. I just keep talking about the same thing over and over. And he's like, bro, I get it. Can you talk about something else now?
Please, something else.
So when they went down to Hagrid's, the first thing they noticed was he was dressed up. The book says this: Hagrid was wearing his best and very horrible hairy brown suit, plus a checkered yellow and orange tie. I'm picturing this in my head as I'm reading it.
It's like, where do you buy a hairy brown suit, bro?
And why would you wear a tie with a tie? Why? This wasn't the worst of it, though. He had evidently tried to tame his hair using large quantities of what appeared to be axle grease. It was now slicked down into 2 bunches. Perhaps he had tried a ponytail like Bill's, but found he had too much hair. Yeah, just take a second to think.
Poor Hagrid.
Yeah. And it doesn't say anything about his pants, so I'm wondering.
I hope those are also brown and hairy to match the jacket.
I would assume so. Yeah. As much as I want the Durmstrangs, little cloaks that they have on,
Yeah.
I want nothing to do with this.
Yeah.
So to try to distract themselves, I guess, Hermione decided to ask about the Scroots. Apparently, as they started to get bigger, they started to kill each other. So he had to separate them. Hagrid was pretty happy that they were there, and they soon started talking about the Triwizard Tournament.
You wait. You just wait. You're going to see some stuff you've never seen before. First task. But I'm not supposed to say.
Go on, Hagrid.
Oh, I don't want to spoil it for you, said Hagrid, but it's going to be spectacular. I'll tell you that. Them champions going to have their work cut out for 'em. Never thought I'd live to see the Triwizard Tournament played again. I felt like that might have been one of my best Hagrid
It was pretty
accents.
good.
I felt pretty good about that.
Yeah. At this point, if you know what's coming, I started to feel a little bad for Hagrid because he's so excited.
Especially for the first task.
Yeah, he is
Especially
excited
for the first task. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So obviously Hagrid, unlike book 1, now knows how to keep secrets.
I've said that.
I should not have said that. So now he's like, no, I'm not going to tell you. For the time being, at least.
Right. Yeah.
For the time being. So
yeah, we'll get to it when we get to it. Yeah.
So Hermione, she gets around to asking Hagrid to be the 4th member of SPEW, and Hagrid flat out refuses. He told Hermione, he's like, look, it would be an insult to these house elves. And Hermione was pretty upset about this.
Oh, yeah.
Right? Hermione's upset about this. Anyway, he flatly refuses.
She had high hopes.
High hopes. And you'd think, Hagrid being care of magical creatures, I could see how she'd be like, oh, I'm sure he would be in. But he's like, look, they get such joy. They're happy when they're serving people. It's insulting. Oh, ask to pay him? Oh, and she's like, but Dobby, which is always the thing, right? You can find one outlier or 2 outliers, and you make that your whole thing. And Hagrid's like, look, that is not what they want. I'm not going to get behind this. And so good on Hagrid.
Hagrid's very wise. He's very smart, but he's also, for lack of a better word, short-minded.
Naive is almost the...
Yeah. He's not going to He's not going to overthink a situation.
Yeah.
He's got his opinion, and that's pretty much it.
Yeah. So as they're about to leave for the Halloween feast and hear who the champions were, Hagrid gets up and he puts on some cologne. And Ron and Hermione are like, this is terrible. And he's like, oh, did I? maybe it's a bit much. I'll go take it off. Hang on. So he goes outside to basically dunk himself in a barrel of water.
Yeah, when I heard that, I was like, take it off. You don't just simply take off cologne.
Yeah. So anyway, he goes outside to wash it off, and then Hagrid just goes off to where Madame Maxine is, and they start going up to the chapter notable number 3. Turns out Hagrid's got a little thing for Madame Maxine here, which... She's a giantess, right? She's as tall as he is. It makes sense.
Yeah. But I just like how he was super excited to see that. Oh, I thought you had forgotten about me.
Yeah.
And then he just leaves.
He's just gone. Men. Typical men.
Surprised Hermione didn't say anything snarky about it.
I know it.
So they left and headed to the Halloween feast. What they really wanted to know was the champion. So... we quickly get through the food, and
this is when it gets exciting.
Yeah. Now when the champions' names are called, I would ask them please to come up to the top of the hall, walk along the staff table, and go through to the next chamber, where they will be receiving their first instructions. Now, this is Dumbledore. Basically, hey, this is what's going to happen. The books describe what happens when a champion is selected. The flames inside the goblet turn suddenly red again. The flames inside the goblet turned suddenly red again. Sparks began to fly from it. Next moment, a tongue of flame shot into the air. A charred piece of parchment fluttered out of it. The whole room gasped. Keep in mind, this happens every time. It's not just a one-and-done type of thing.
Yeah.
So, as we rush through the chapter notables here. So, chapter notable number 4, the Durmstrang Champion. No surprise here. Viktor Krum. Woo! Krum! Chapter notable number 5, the Beauxbatons Champion. And no surprise to us is Fleur Delacour, the girl that Ron has been ogling and calling a Vila. Chapter notable number 6, the Hogwarts Champion, Draco Malfoy.
Dear me.
Cedric Diggory.
Yeah. And everybody was okay with Cedric. Obviously Angelina would have been Gryffindor's first choice, but Cedric is a good neutral party.
Yeah.
He's not Slytherin. So the school was really behind. And you got to feel good for Hufflepuff at this point. Like they get the Hogwarts house champion.
Yeah, they do.
And so Dumbledore, he announces the champions. They've been chosen. And after each one is called, they get up, they walk up to the staff table, walk out, they exit the hall into this room. And as he's telling the 3 schools, support your champion. This is going to be so exciting. He gets cut off. He gets cut off by something. He gets distracted. Well, the Goblet of Fire turned red again. Sparks came shooting out of it. And as those sparks came shooting out, a piece of parchment comes out with charred edges. And Dumbledore catches it. And he reads it in chapter notable number 7. Harry Potter.
And I've already got something to do for chapter 17, and it's going to be so much fun. So, again, this is going to be, I think, a short final thoughts. We did the best we could with this chapter. I mean, it wasn't a terrible chapter like chapter 2 was, but
not terrible.
I think it was a little drawn out, the chapter itself. Could have been quite a bit shorter than it was, or maybe done a little bit differently, because I know we're trying to introduce Durmstrang. We're trying to introduce Beauxbatons.
Each chapter can't be a banger, right? There's got to be subplot. There's got to be
like
details.
banger. Oh, here's this. Oh, hold on, a banger again.
Ends with a banger, though. Ends with a great thing. And then, you just can't help but be super disappointed in Hagrid. The Scroots are now 3 feet long, and my guy does not know what they eat.
Yes. Well, they eat flesh, human flesh. So.
They are cool. Now, we don't know. We just saw that the hand was bandaged. We don't know if it was burnt or bitten. So
I'm going to go with it was bitten.
I
don't know. This chapter kind of feels like I was writing an essay and I need to put a bunch of filler in so that I can make the appropriate amount of pages. Yeah.
But here's the thing. She put 24 hours in, a little over 24 hours in one chapter. So
that's pretty good. I mean, the fact that they had 24 hours to decide if they were going to put their name in there or not, which, like you said, they've already had time, but now that it's here and it's happening, 24, that's it. I don't got a couple of days to think
because you're like, I'm going to do it. When there's no pressure, you're like, I'm going to do it. Here's the Goblet of Fire. Clock's ticking.
Right.
So it's a good lead in.
It is really surprising that Ron, Harry, or Hermione, I would have expected, or if she had to go back and add anything to this, I feel like they would have tried to figure out how to get into the Goblet of Fire. The fact that they did not even try, or they did not talk about it, was a little bit of a letdown.
Yeah. I mean, sure. I don't.
I mean, they got bigger fish to fry, but
exactly. I think honestly, I think Harry's relieved.
Yeah.
The last 3 years haven't been kind to him as far as his stress levels and the situations that he's been put in. So I'm sure he was like, okay, cool. I don't even have to worry about. Now, obviously, he would have rather played Quidditch, but like,
I was going to say there's no Quidditch, so
yeah, yeah.
yeah.
And so, we talk about this chapter being a little boring, but really the next chapter, the four champions, nothing really too exciting happens in it. There's a couple of cool little things that happen, but there's no events, nothing. It's basically how is everybody treating Harry now that he's been chosen as a champion?
Yeah, I don't know. It's a shorter chapter too. Maybe it's also the fact that yes, this was a long chapter, but the introduction to all of this, maybe it's because it was all rushed. If they would have made a couple chapters out of it, maybe it would have been a little different. Like involve the students from the other schools a little bit more.
Yeah.
Like we were just quickly. I mean, we're going to see more of Krum. We're going to see more of Fleur Delacour. So it all fits in eventually. But I don't know. Long It's weird to say the long chapter felt rushed. I guess that's the best way I could phrase it.
Yeah.
But we do have some mail today. I got to think of a better way to get into that. But that being said, I think it's time to do some owl posts. What do you think about that, Andrew?
Absolutely.
Ooh. And today's question or statement is from Tyler Kopf. Tyler Kopf from YouTube. Sorry if I butchered your username. Obviously, before we got into this book, we recapped the whole Prisoner of Azkaban in its entirety, and then we recapped the movie. Because once we're done with the book, we got to do the movie. And when we... You know what? I'll get into the question. So, he said, this is the best made movie in the series. It keeps the story going at a good pace, and the art direction is top notch. I thought that movie, after recapping the whole book, I was like, well, this is a completely different thing going on here.
Yeah.
What do you think, Andrew? I know your opinions on the movies.
It's just, here's the thing. If I would have seen the movies and then read the books, I would have a completely different opinion of the movies.
True.
Right? But I read the books, then I watched the movies, and you can't help but watch Prisoner of Azkaban and just be so disappointed at the things they left out and the things that they changed.
Well, one of the big things they changed was, even though Alan Rickman did such a great job of playing Snape, he was not book accurate.
No.
There were so many inconsistencies between book Snape and movie Snape, and we pointed all of them out. Good Snape, but if you're comparing it to the book, missed the mark. Missed the mark there. So
and the Time Turner, we didn't really get a ton of that. Buckbeak's Trial, we didn't get a ton of that. It's just...
And the Buckbeak was so... Yeah, there's... Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think it's the best movie in the series. I think the first 3 and maybe even 4 movies, they're not great as it goes, like with the books, kind of. And the first 2 movies, it was so long ago,
sure,
that they did the best they could do. Now, if you're going to compare, the first 2 movies to the third movie, well, yeah, third movie's a lot better.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. But
and for the CGI of the time, like that was one of the things, I think we even remarked on it when we did the movie review. Like for the CGI of the time, they did great. Like Werewolf Lupin, like that was You know,
You
that
know,
was
when it comes to CGI and special effects and, certain things that they did long ago, like, far away from where we are right now, sometimes it looks better. Like, they can get to a point where stuff looks better. Like, even the way they dress, the way they look, looks good. But then when you get to present time, it's almost like they're trying too hard and it doesn't look right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's the one thing about the movies that I can say. Like, they did a good job of making everything look good.
Mm-hmm.
Because even looking at the HBO series, Nick Frost, Hagrid, his beard, to me, I'm like, yeah, I can kind of tell that's fake. But then when I look at Hagrid's beard, I'm like, that looks like a real beard.
Yeah, it looks good.
Yeah, so yeah, I don't know. I would disagree in saying that was the best movie of the series.
Yeah, no, I'm not down with that.
It was a good movie. Good movie.
I respect the opinion. Look, I respect the opinion. That's the beautiful thing about movies and art. Like, if that's your favorite, great. Great.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, thank you, Tyler Kopp, for the comment. Keep them coming. And thank you all for joining us. Thank you all for watching. That's the word we coined. Remember, everybody, you got to remember these things. Thank you for watching us. If it gives you the option to rate, share with who? With who?
All the Potterheads, baby.
Yes. Or comment, do it. We love to interact with you guys. We love to see all the opinions, and any little interaction we get just pushes our podcast out farther. And join us next time when we recap Chapter 17, The Four Champions. And I'll leave us with this. It is a strange thing, but when you are dreading something and would give anything to slow down time, it has a disobliging habit of speeding up. Squib's Corner is hosted by Jeremiah Lobot and co-host by Andrew Beecham. We would love to hear from you, so drop us a rate and review, to inquire about being a guest and for questions and comments, or to just give us your Harry Potter story. Email us at squibscorner@gmail.com. To watch Harry Potter merch unboxings, follow my YouTube, @KillPotterGuy. Lastly, you can leave us a voice memo and follow us on Instagram at Squibs Corner Podcast.